Fear. It's an emotion as old as life itself, a survival tool, a teacher, and sometimes a real pain. We've all felt it. That cold drop in the pit of your stomach, your heart suddenly hammering against your ribs, that split-second certainty that something is wrong. But what is it? What is this primal force that can hijack our bodies and minds in an instant? It's not a ghost or a monster under the bed. It's a complex and surprisingly elegant biological process, a dance of chemicals and electricity happening deep inside your brain. Today, we're taking a journey right into the center of that process. We're pulling back the curtain on the neuroscience of fear to understand what triggers us, why our bodies react the way they do, and how this ancient survival circuit is getting on in our very modern world. Picture this. You're walking alone at night and a sudden crash makes you jump out of your skin. Your heart is pounding, your breathing is shallow, and your muscles are tensed. You are ready to either run for your life or fight, all before you've even figured out what made the noise. This full-body alarm system is the work of a tiny, almond-shaped structure deep in your brain. Think of it as your personal threat detector, and it has already hit the fight or flight button. This is the science of how your brain reacts to fear before you even have time to think. That tiny, almond-shaped cluster of neurons is the amygdala. It's the brain's hypervigilant security guard, the central hub for processing anything that looks like a threat. It's a key part of the limbic system, your brain's emotional core, and it works right alongside structures like the hippocampus, which handles memory. That connection is crucial because our past experiences are what teach us what to be afraid of. But the amygdala's most important job is to answer one simple question and answer it **fast**. Is this dangerous? To do this, it uses two different routes, a concept brought to light by neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux, who called them the low road and the high road. Let's go back to that crash in the night. The sensory information, the sound, travels from your ears to a relay station in your brain called the thalamus. This is where the path splits. The low road is a neurological shortcut. It's a super fast direct line from the thalamus straight to the amygdala. This path is what you'd call quick and dirty. It doesn't care about details. It just recognizes the pattern of a potential threat, a sudden loud noise when you're vulnerable, and it slams the panic button. This is why your body is on high alert before your conscious mind even knows what happened. It's a react now, ask questions later system hardwired for survival. This system would rather give you a false alarm for a cat tipping over a trash can than fail to react to an actual threat in the shadows. At the exact same time, the thalamus sends that same sound on a longer, more scenic journey, the high road. This path goes up to the sensory cortex and then to the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain right behind your forehead that handles logic and reasoning. This is your thinking brain. Your prefrontal cortex analyzes the sound with much more detail. It considers the context, it checks your memories, and it concludes that the crash had the distinct metallic clang of a lid falling off a garbage can. It then sends a message down to the amygdala, all clear, stand down. But this analysis takes time, just fractions of a second, but that's an eternity in neural terms. By the time the all clear message arrives, your heart is already racing. And that physical feeling, that's the ghost of the low road's efficiency. So, what's actually happening in that split second when the amygdala sounds the alarm? It doesn't just create a feeling of fear. It kicks off a full-body chain reaction known as the fight or flight response. This response is an evolutionary masterpiece designed to give your body the sudden strength and speed it needs to survive an immediate threat. First, the amygdala sends a distress signal to the hypothalamus, which acts as the brain's command center. The hypothalamus then activates two key systems, the sympathetic nervous system and the adrenal cortical system. The sympathetic nervous system is like flipping a switch that cranks your body into overdrive. It signals your adrenal glands to release a massive surge of adrenaline, also known as epinephrine. This is what causes all those immediate, dramatic physical effects. Your heart rate and blood pressure shoot up to pump oxygen-rich blood to your major muscles, your legs, arms, and shoulders, prepping you to either fight or bolt. Your breathing gets fast and shallow to take in more oxygen. To make you even faster and stronger, your body reroutes its resources. Blood is pulled away from non-essential jobs like digestion, which is why your mouth might go dry or you get that butterflies in your stomach feeling. Your pupils dilate to let in more light, creating a kind of tunnel vision focused only on the threat. At the same time, the amygdala's alarm leads to the release of another key chemical in the brain, norepinephrine. This neurotransmitter amps up the physical fight or flight response, sharpens your attention, and crucially helps to sear the scary event into your memory. This is why you remember frightening moments so vividly. Your brain is making sure you don't forget something that could have been life-threatening. If the threat doesn't go away after a few seconds, the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, kicks into gear, releasing the stress hormone cortisol. Cortisol's job is to keep the body on high alert, flooding you with glucose for sustained energy. It's the hormone responsible for that lingering, on-edge feeling long after the initial scare has passed, a faint echo of that primal alarm. This ancient, life-saving system is fantastic when you're facing down a predator, but here's the catch. Most of us aren't running from tigers anymore. We still have the same hardware, though. In his book, Emotional Intelligence, psychologist Daniel Goleman coined the term amygdala hijack to describe what happens when this primitive fear circuit gets triggered by the pressures of modern life. Your amygdala doesn't know the difference between a real physical threat and a psychological one. It can't tell if you're being chased by a bear or just criticized by your boss in a meeting. To your amygdala, a threat is a threat, and it fires off the only response it knows: fight or flight. Think about it. That racing heart and sweaty palms you get before public speaking, that's an amygdala hijack. That sudden irrational rage when someone cuts you off in traffic, amygdala hijack. That wave of panic when an email with an urgent subject line lands in your inbox, that's your amygdala pulling the emergency brake again. Some of these triggers are learned from experience, like developing a fear of dogs after being bitten. This is called fear conditioning, where something neutral gets linked to a scary outcome. But many modern triggers are psychological and social. They tap into deep-seated fears of rejection, failure, or losing control. Criticism, the fear of being judged, or a looming deadline can all feel like survival threats to your emotional brain. For people dealing with anxiety disorders, PTSD, or chronic stress, this system can become hyper-responsive. The prefrontal cortex, which is supposed to send the all-clear signal, may struggle to calm the amygdala down. The result is a state of hypervigilance, where the brain is constantly scanning for danger, and the fear response gets triggered more easily and lasts longer. Here's the good news. Understanding the science of fear isn't about getting rid of it. Fear is a vital part of what keeps us safe. It's about understanding the machinery. The moment you recognize that your pounding heart is just an automatic biological process, an amygdala hijack, you've taken the first step toward regaining control. By simply recognizing the signs, you give your rational brain, your prefrontal cortex, a chance to catch up. Techniques as simple as taking one slow, deep breath can help deactivate the fight-or-flight response and signal to your brain that the threat isn't actually life or death. And guess what? The brain can also unlearn fear. In a process called fear extinction, the prefrontal cortex can actively suppress the amygdala's response over time as it learns a trigger is no longer dangerous. Recent studies are even pinpointing specific brain circuits and neurotransmitters, like dopamine, that act as an all-clear signal to help the brain let go of a fear once the danger has passed. Other research has identified a brain region called the VLGN that helps store the memory that a once scary thing is now safe, offering hope for future treatments for anxiety and PTSD. Your fear response is an echo from our evolutionary past, a powerful ghost of a time when survival was all about instant reactions. But by understanding the what and the how, you can start to manage the when. You can learn to acknowledge the alarm bell without letting it take over the cockpit. So the next time your heart starts hammering because of a stressful email or a moment of social anxiety, just remember that little almond-shaped guard in your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do. Acknowledge it. Thank it for trying to keep you safe, and then let your thinking brain take the lead. We'd love to hear from you. What's a modern threat that you've noticed triggers your own fight or flight response? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this trip into the brain, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the science of you.